It took 22 years for a sequel to the 1999 game Pokemon Snap to come out, and onto the Switch rather than the Wii U or even Wii or DS/3DS. Pokemon Snap was, for the most part, a curious spin-off in an already huge franchise that has some nostalgia riding on it, not to mention praise for its interesting gameplay and presentation. But it was mostly considered short, with little in the way of Pokemon to take pictures of in their natural environments. Several generations of Pokemon and even consoles have passed. Now it's time to see if the developers of Bandai Namco Studios, responsible for Poké Tournament, made a worthy sequel with new Pokemon Snap. The story can be best described as a slightly more in-depth retelling of that scene in the previous game. You, as an aspiring Pokemon photographer, are assisting Professor Mirror and his assistants Rita and Phil as they research several islands located in the Lentor region. Professor Mirror is also trying to solve a mystery mostly left behind by previous professors and explorers, involving the coexistence of humans and Pokemon, as well as mysterious Pokemon and ruins that have been on the islands for centuries. The first game was mostly just about taking pictures of Pokemon, only for things to suddenly get more mysterious at the end. But the mysteries persist throughout this game, making it somewhat compelling to go from area to area to check out all the Pokemon. Still, the similarities are hard to ignore. Even the player-controlled Todd Snap from before returns. There is some voice acting for him and the other characters in some cutscenes, and their ongoing commentary on your photography skills in the courses, which is mostly okay.
Now that you're all here, we can get started.
Oh, really?
A new discovery.
Oh, wow. Awesome! Woo! Give it another try.
Wow, you've really got an eye for this.
Hey!
But that is nothing compared to the massive differences that console generations make for the visuals and sound. While there are some occasional texture and even technical performance problems, this is an extremely beautiful game that one could see being easily superior looking to Pokemon Sword and Shield. All the environments look beautiful, from the colourful underwater scenery to the lush green jungles and even foggy forests. Of course, the characters and even Pokemon themselves are animated nicely and lively. Nothing more to add to that. The music is interesting to say the least. Some of the quieter tunes are actually nice and even atmospheric on occasion, while those of the lab and even the encounters with the rare Pokemon may as well make you feel like you're battling at a gym in a later generation game of the franchise. Above all, the music is non-intrusive and the Pokemon make the noises you'd expect, ranging from cute to sometimes intimidating. Of course, you don't have to worry about the Pokemon being intimidating at all if you're safely inside, not the Zero One vehicle, but the new Newer One hovercraft that moves on rails through the courses. Or research? As you learn the basics of photography from the characters and start taking pictures of a Pokemon in their habitat, it's hard not to see the similarities in gameplay to the first game. You move the cursor around almost like an on-rail shooter, focus or zoom the camera with the left triggers, and take a picture of a Pokemon with A. It's about the simplicity. You can even move the Nintendo Switch in handheld mode to look at your surroundings. VR almost? Other buttons eventually get used to throw fruit, orbs, move the vehicle faster, and even play music for the purpose of getting better Pokemon pictures. There are some interesting differences to make it more than just the first game but more pretty. For one thing, you can do a quick radial scan to uncover secrets, which can also startle the Pokemon. It's with the mention of secrets where we come on to the analysis of a challenge and progression in this game. It is somewhat similar to the first game, where the more Pokemon you take pictures of or do out of the ordinary things, the more courses and therefore Pokemon you unlock. But there are differences. The better the quality of your photos, the more expedition points you get that add to the course's research level. As that course's research level increases, you see more paths and Pokemon and even unlock new courses, mostly as part of the story. Usually at research level 2, you can even unlock that course's night equivalent, which also features nocturnal Pokemon and sometimes sleeping Pokemon that you will have to wake up. But the research level 2 is also the general way to go to a new course, which can most likely feature a rare Pokemon. There is more than one rare Pokemon than just the final one in the first game. Not only are the pictures of these Pokemon instrumental to progression, but also pictures that generally consist of ruins and glowing flowers, the latter of which can be lit up with Illumina orbs. These orbs can also be thrown over Pokemon to make certain things happen. While the progression mostly works, there are times, especially in later sections of the game, looking at you, Snow Course, where finding paths, Pokemon, and glowing flowers can be a little too hard to figure out. Still, it encourages exploration, which is nice. The grading of the pictures you give to Professor Mirror is less harsh than in the first game, but still questionable. The categories of grading are mostly the same as before, with the additions of interesting backgrounds and if a Pokemon is facing you. But there is another new aspect to the grading system, or more specifically the poses of the Pokemon. Each Pokemon's pose is graded on a star rating of 1 to 4. This means that each Pokemon can have up to 4 pictures in the photo decks. The more you get more facts about a Pokemon. Some of the higher star poses are hard to get or time right, even with something as simple as giving them food to eat or bonking or hitting them with the food. I think you're less mean to the Pokemon in this game. This gives the game a lot of replay value, an improvement over the first game. There are more courses, each with their day and night settings and branching paths, and especially a lot more than 63 Pokemon. Thank you. From the recognizable Gen 1 Pokemon of one's childhood to the more recent ones I can actually learn the names of, there are plenty to see. One problem with the replay value, however, is that you can only show 1 star rating picture of a Pokemon at a time. It is possible to get multiple kinds of star ratings in one go in a course, but why can't you show more than 1? I've got 2 pictures of Pikachu that are 1 star and 2 stars respectively. Let me show them both to you, Professor Mirror. It is just an issue of padding that seems to hurt the otherwise significantly improved replay value. You can also fulfill requests, such as getting a Dodrio to fly, as well as get better scores for individual pictures, including a diamond rating at 4,000 points, and later, the individual courses. While reviewing this 2021 Pokemon spin-off has easily drawn comparisons to its predecessor, it is easy to see that this is a fun and interesting game, especially for Pokemon fans. It is definitely better than the first game, with quality of life improvements, such as being able to throw items while taking a picture, as well as better use of the album to save whatever pictures you want and edit them with filters and so on, as appropriate to show online. There are some minor problems with the production values as well as the progression and replay value, and it feels lacking in the unique charm, quirks, and even innovation of the first game. It is mostly down to whether the on-rails gameplay of taking pictures of Pokemon instead of exploring the big world to catch, train, and battle them appeals to you. But Pokemon fan or not, even if you're more into the earlier generations of Pokemon, you should find it a lot of fun to snap them all in this Nintendo Switch title. Snap them all? See what I did there?